In the previous video, we discussed 4 key steps in the writing process: brainstorming, making an outline, writing, and checking your work. In this video, we are going to demonstrate how these 4 steps can be applied to Task 1 of the writing test. In Task 1, you will be presented with a situation and a series of instructions explaining what you should include in an email. Let's take a look at an example. Notice that there are 3 main instructions in this example. The number of instructions can vary in Task 1, but there will generally be 3 to 4 of them. Before I start writing, I'm going to make some notes. On the official test, you will have note paper that you can use. Now, since there are 3 parts to the instructions here, I'm going to divide my page into 3 parts and number them like this. To get started, I'm going to write down any ideas that I have, good or bad. I'll spend 2 or 3 minutes on this. This is the brainstorming part. It's okay if you can't think of anything right away for a particular part. You can always come back to it. So let's see. Number 1. Say what time the meeting is and what the meeting is about. I'll just say 3 p.m. Any time would be fine. What's the meeting about? I'll have to think about that. I'll come back to it later. Number 2. Say sorry for not going to the meeting and why you cannot attend. Okay, I'll say I'm really sorry. Why I cannot attend. I'm sick, but in what way? Headache? Stomachache? Considering that the meeting is tomorrow, neither of these will work. I could easily recover from both by tomorrow. Stomach flu? Sounds better. Food poisoning? That sounds too serious. Who knows when I will be back at work. Okay, anyway, I've got some ideas down. Number 3. Ask to change the meeting day and suggest a time. This one seems pretty easy. I'll say Friday at 3. Okay, back to number 1. Say what the meeting is about. I really have no idea. I'm just going to write whatever comes into my mind. Meeting. You know, when I think of a meeting, I think of a long table and big chairs and lots of people in suits. Okay, what if the meeting was about chairs and tables or desks and new employees or something, like where they will sit? Maybe something about a seating chart and buying new desks? Okay, that sounds like something people have meetings about. Maybe I'll just add one more detail about what my contribution to the meeting is supposed to be. I'll say I have some information about the total number of new hires based on reports from other bosses, or department heads sounds better. It's a more precise and detailed way of describing them that will show the raters the range of my vocabulary. Okay, I've got some ideas for each part. I've finished brainstorming, and now I'm going to work on making an outline. Looking at number 1, I'll say the meeting was scheduled for 3 p.m. and it's about a seating chart for new employees, as well as buying new desks. I'll also mention the report about numbers of new hires from the department heads. In number 2, I'll say I'm really sorry, and I'll go with stomach flu to explain why I can't attend the meeting. For number 3, well, I've got the new meeting time, so I'm all set. Now I've got 3 sections here, so I will probably want to write 3 main paragraphs in my response. It may not always work out so neatly, but in general, it can be a useful strategy to build your outline around the instructions, and then write 1 paragraph for each of the main instructions. Now, when I look at my outline, I see that I don't really have enough to say to write a whole paragraph for number 3. Maybe I could add some details, like why I'm asking to postpone until Friday. I'll mention that I need time to recover from my stomach flu and that I have some things I want to discuss at the meeting. Whenever you can, you should add supporting details to develop your main ideas. Okay, now I've got a pretty solid outline. I know what the important points are for each of my 3 main paragraphs, and I'm ready to get started on the actual writing of my email. In writing task 1, you are writing an email to someone, so you're going to need a greeting. In this case, I'm writing to my boss. I'll come up with a first name. I'll call my boss Dan. In Canada, it's normal to use people's first names, even if they are your boss. I don't need anything too complicated as a greeting. Hi Dan, is fine. Because I'm writing to my boss, who knows me well and who's probably pretty busy, I'm going to get right to the point. Now, if I was writing to someone I didn't know, I would probably include a line introducing myself. Or if I was writing to a friend I hadn't heard from in a while, I might write, "How have you been? It's been a while." It would be natural to include an opening line in those situations. But here, it would be best to just jump in and explain the situation to my boss. So here's my first paragraph. Okay, this seems a little wordy, but I'll leave it for now. I'll come back and check it after I've done a first draft. Here's my second paragraph. This one is a lot shorter, but it's still an okay paragraph. It's got the minimum 3 sentences. The first sentence clearly states the topic. The second sentence explains why I am sorry. The last sentence explains why I can't make it. Something bothers me about the last sentence, though. It doesn't seem well connected to the second sentence. I've stated that the meeting is important, and then I've stated that I'm too sick to go. I think I need to add a transitional word here, such as however. Okay, here's my last paragraph. This isn't bad. I've started with a strong topic sentence that happens to be a question here. All the other sentences provide details that support the first one. The tone of that first sentence is a bit off, though. I'd like to make it sound a bit more polite, since I feel pretty bad about missing the meeting. I'll add the phrase, if at all possible, here. I also think I need to add a transition between the second and third sentence and change this into one longer sentence. It'll more clearly show the relationship between the ideas in those two sentences. This will also show the raters that I have good control over sentence structure. Okay, I'm almost done. I think I'll just add a closing statement, something that will reinforce how sorry I am. That will really help with the tone of my message. And I'll also add my name. All right, so that's it for the third step of the writing process, writing my message. The last thing I will do is spend 2 to 3 minutes checking over my work to see if I have made any small errors or if there's something that I can do to improve my response. Now I see that my total word count is 208. The instructions say I should write about 150 to 200 words, so that's okay, just a little over. Nevertheless, as I read over my work, I should check to make sure I haven't repeated myself or included information that isn't related to the topic. When I look at my first paragraph, I do see a part where I have repeated the same idea. This sentence here. It's basically just repeating what I said in the sentence before. I'm going to delete it. Oh, and I see I've repeated the word report in the last sentence. I want to show the raters the range of my vocabulary, so I'm going to change this second one to figures, which is another word for numbers. My second paragraph looks okay. Oh, except that I now see that I left out a word here. When I look at my third paragraph, I see that I have used the phrase attend the meeting twice, once here and once in the second paragraph. I'm going to change this one so that the raters know the range of my vocabulary. Okay, I have now completed all 4 steps of the writing process. Here's my completed response in its entirety. In this video, we've looked at how to apply these 4 steps to an example of task 1. In the next video, we will apply the 4 steps of the writing process to an example of task 2.